I don't know. What's wrong with you? So before we even jump into this video, this is actually part 2 of a series. If you haven't seen part 1, this video probably won't make that much sense. Part 1 is a lot of fun. It is linked right here. Check it out. For the rest of you who have seen it, welcome to part 2. You guys said you wanted a series, and a series is what you've got. So a little bit of a recap. On my first trip to Japan 12 years ago, I used money I didn't have to buy this here camcorder and fill up these 12 tapes with my entire several-month trip to and across Japan. The last episode had me leaving Canada and arriving in Japan. And today we're kicking off with that first day, me heading right into Tokyo and me ending with leaving Tokyo. And once more, just a couple disclaimers. Yes, I was young, I talked really lazy, I was traveling with a friend who I don't really show on camera for privacy reasons and all of that. And also, today, just as I was about to shoot this, the postman showed up and he's like, I got a box for you. This box right here is from Ray and Ambry. Woohoo, thank you guys. We're gonna jump into this in a second, but I'm just really curious as to what's in the box. Also, never cut towards yourself, it's incredibly... You guys. Oh, it is coffee. And there's a Merry Christmas note. Thank you guys very much. Now, I was considering doing this with a guest and like watching it together, but I'm telling you, I'm actually really glad that I watched these first couple of tapes on my own. Maybe future episodes will have a guest. I believe this episode starts my first full morning in Tokyo on the train heading right in. Let's just jump right in. Here we go. I'm gonna pause it right there. Yeah, I've blurred out the faces of the kids and everything, but that was like another huge culture shock for me when I first got into Japan. I was like, these kids on the train completely alone. Is this... Where are we? Is this Ikebukuro? Is this Shinjuku? I think it's Ikebukuro. And now I'm wandering into a pachinko parlor for some reason. I think it goes back to that whole Lost in Translation thing. I was like, oh, I saw this in Lost in Translation, so I have to do it. I've got to go into the pachinko parlor. Japanese KFC. Grills. I don't think they have that anymore. Yeah, this was definitely Ikebukuro.
Alright, so over here we have Tamagotchi.
Oh yeah! Because I think back in 2005, Tamagotchi wasn't popular in North America anymore. Maybe it was, I don't know. I didn't have one in 2005. I had one before that. But...
Alright, and for Alexander...
Oh my god, I'm like... And for Alexander, here's some Dragon Ball Z stuff here. Aw. Hi Alexander. If you don't know, Alexander's my little brother. He was here in August. There's a playlist linked up there. It was pretty awesome.
Alright, we're now at a ramen shop.
This was not a ramen shop.
Not ramen. What are we getting? Here's the door. What are we opening?
This is actually my first experience eating matsuya gyudon, the beef bowl with like beef and sauteed onion and all that. If I remember correctly, there was something really cool that happened right after this. A bit of an adventure.
Alright, so while eating our lunch, we saw these two really freaky looking people. And we're on the hunt for them now.
I remember
so with
this.
any luck, we'll be able to catch them.
I never... Just wait, you'll see. It gets even like weirder when you see them from the front. I think I actually managed to get in front of them. I can't believe I actually hunted them down. Look at this. Oh my god.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. It's gotta be one of the most psychotic things I've ever seen in my life.
Way to not be judgy, Norm. Call him psychotic. Alright, I'm gonna pause it just right here. Back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, like this style, dark tan and everything, was actually fairly popular. There was like gyaru and yamamba and all these different crazy styles. I'm sure the culture is still there. It's just not as prevalent as it once was. And being in Japan on your very first day and seeing,
Here we are in Shinjuku.
first moments in Shinjuku.
Shinjuku-eki.
I remember being very unimpressed with Shinjuku when I first got there. I was like,
I
what?
don't really have a lot to say about it because I don't really know anything about it. There's not a lot of interesting stuff in this area, but anyway, it's going to be fun to walk around.
And a lot of my friends really love the Shinjuku area. Oh, look at that, my very first like free tissue in Japan. First Japanese game center. Look at that style though, like those sunglasses and the dress shirt with a vest, like look at how ready I am. 107 was a little bit better, yeah. And somehow I lost. Uh-oh. Alright, so are you guys ready to see the worst joke you'll ever see? This is, I'm gonna put it in. This was just a really bad joke.
Alright, so you'll never believe this. This is so cool. I actually just saw a ninja. Now, here's the thing, alright? I'm gonna try and do this really discreetly, but I'm gonna get this ninja on camera.
Look at that fade in transition. That was all in camera, by the way.
And thus begins my second day in Japan.
Day
This
two.
is my day where I'm taking my trip up to Sapporo, Japan. To see cherry blossoms.
Okay, I'm heading up to Sapporo
So here I am
this
at the
day.
station. I am about to be taking my first Shinkansen. Okay, so I'm on the train. I'm pretty sure I'm in my seat, but if I've made a mistake, they'll let me know.
I love that attitude. I found my car. I'm pretty sure I'm in my seat. But if I've made a mistake, they'll let me know. Oh, wait. There it is. Oh, this is really exciting. Oh, wow. I'm just gonna pause this for a second. I did a video this past May where I went up to Aomori on the Shinkansen and I talked about my Shinkansen tradition and how the very first time that I ever got on a Shinkansen, I grabbed one of these bottles of green tea and a rice ball. There it is. There it is right there. It's just, wow. I was so taken aback by a full-grown adult male just sitting there reading manga at the time. It's so normal now. My first time in Aomori. Woo! Ah, you can already see some of the cherry blossoms too. I went all the way up to Sapporo on this trip, like just for the purpose of seeing cherry blossoms because they were finished in Tokyo and I was like, I've got to go see the cherry blossoms, right? So yeah, I think it was like 10 hours of trains. I was so excited to see this too. It was two fighter planes like flying through the mountains or something. Okay, they weren't flying through the mountains. In my memory, they were. Memory is a funny thing. That was cool. Well, that's a creepy tower. I don't know if you've ever played Half-Life 2, but it reminds me of the Citadel from Half-Life 2. There's an old man smoking on the train and it blew my mind. I was like, I didn't realize that I had sat in a smoking car. I didn't realize that there was a difference. So I'm just recording this old man and the Sapporo Beer Tower. Huh? I missed that. I think I was only in Sapporo for like 24 hours and then I was going back the next day at noon or something.
I don't know, I'm not really nervous, but I think I should be, so let's see how I do.
I think I should be.
This is really awesome. I have no idea where I am, where I'm supposed to
Or
go,
how to hold a
I'm
camera
supposed to
straight.
do anything. I'm so lost. I'm actually starting to get a little scared. but it's okay because I haven't lost the station yet. I've been here almost an hour.
Let's pause right there. Way overcautious, and like I was in the station for an hour. I wanted to make sure I was insanely familiar with the station and the area before actually venturing outside. And so it took me forever to leave the station. And then once I left the station, it took me forever to actually separate myself from the station. Back then, things like iPhones and Google Maps and all that was not a thing. Paper maps were a thing. And I think after this, I actually went to the station and was like, can I get a map? So.
But I think I have finally gathered up the guts to actually leave this building. So here we go.
There we go. I've been in the building probably a good 2 hours at this point.
Wow, this is something else.
Listen to these reactions. This is something else. I've stepped outside.
I don't know what to feel.
I don't know.
I'm just gonna shut up and walk around.
What's wrong with you? I'm so glad that I watched these alone and not with somebody. You know what? We're just going to pause it right there for today because this feels like a separate episode all in its own. The Sapporo Adventures episode. I'm going to take these off. Guys, that coffee is spectacular. Thank you. It can be a little bit embarrassing to watch these back, but I think in the end it's really, really worth it. One of the reasons that I chose to record everything is because humans by nature are so forgetful. There's an abundance of scenes in there where I'm like, oh, I remember this, and I'd totally forgotten until I watched them in there. I think my favorite part of this entire thing are the little culture shocks back then that are totally normal to me now. Just like last time, I'm gonna take some of the footage from this, toss it together to make like a little vlog-esque segment at the end. I'm sorry it's so shaky. It is what it is. What do you guys think? Should I have a guest watch the next one with me? Let me know.
So right now we're heading to the train station so we can make our way into closer to central Tokyo and start our day. Last night, I came here and wasted about $5 in this arcade. So here comes a car, I'm gonna get out of the way. And we're at the station. And for Alexander, with tons of Dragon Ball Z stuff here. Alright, so while eating our lunch, we saw these two really freaky looking people. And we're on the hunt for them now, so with any luck, we'll be able to catch them. Here we are in Shibuya-ku. I don't really have a lot to say about it because I don't really know anything about it, and there's not a lot of interesting stuff in this area, but either way it's going to be fun to walk around. Later day. Alright, so here we are in another area. Apparently this intersection is really famous because a guy who's on a trivia show had his own show in this building for 20 or 30 years. And thus begins my second day in Japan. This is my day where I'm taking my trip up to Sapporo, Japan. Alright, so here I am at the station. I am about to retake my first Shinkansen, otherwise known to North Americans as the bullet train. And this one, 656. I do believe this over here is my train. Pretty sure I'm in my seat, but if I've made a mistake, they'll let me know. Alright, so here's the meal I bought for today. I've got a onigiri, which is a rice ball, and I have some tea, which came with a spring handkerchief.